In 3, 2, 1. And we're ready. Oh, I didn't put that one part. Sigma Tau Lambda chapter. I didn't put that. All right, it's now streaming live. We're ready to go.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Lateef Land, and I am the second vice president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Omega Tau Omega Chapter. Want to welcome everyone here today as we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day with the children from the Historic Paradise Foundation. We also have here in partnership with us today the gentlemen of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Sigma Tau Lambda Chapter. At this time, I would like to take a moment just to introduce both of our chapter presidents and to allow them to give greetings. So for Omega Tau Omega, Ms. Wakita Barksdale, followed by Brandon Woodward for Alpha Phi Alpha.
Hi, everyone. I'm Wakita, and I'm the president of the AKA chapter in Fort Mill. We are really excited to have the opportunity to spend this day with you. MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., was very, very important in our community. And so we always like to remember the work that he's done for us and to just kind of talk about it. And we really are interested in seeing what your thoughts about him are. And so thank you for having us. And we look forward to getting to know each and every last one of you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brandon, and I'm the president of the Alpha Phi Alpha chapter in Fort Mill. We're a new chapter, so we're excited to, again, get this opportunity to speak to you and tell you a little bit about our brother, Dr. Martin Luther King. It's very important for us to provide people with information about Dr. King and what he accomplished, and make sure that everyone knows the great things that he stood for, and that his legacy continues on today. So again, it's great to meet all of you. It's great to see all of you, and we look forward to sharing this time.
Thank you very much. Well, at this time, we want to take a minute just to share a little information with you about the Divine Nine organizations. I know that we have the kids on with us today, and some of you may not know what Greek letter organizations are. You may not know what AKA is or Alpha Phi Alpha. So we have a little video for you that's going to give you some insight, and then our presidents will be able to answer any questions or give any additional information about our chapters. Danielle, if you can let Omega Tau Omega share, we can go ahead and get that video going.
During the 1700s, colonial colleges began to develop across the Americas. The institutions were modeled and shaped after European institutions such as Oxford and Cambridge, which were located in England. The term collegiate transformed out of the concept that colleges, although large, were family-like institutions. At colonial colleges, faculty had undertaken the role of teaching students as well as the responsibility of handling disciplinary action. Their dual role often made it hard for them to develop close interpersonal relationships with their students. A significant aspect of the European college system that was implemented in colonial colleges was the division of student body into classes. Institutions classified students into groups entitled freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. This class distinction was used to determine the amount of time a scholar had studied at the institution. Historically, one can say class designations were the first form of student association. Though they were not officially recognized, these groups often had rituals, customs, insignia, and clothes, and provided important social activities for its members. The first student organization was founded at Harvard University in 1703. The purpose of the organization was to pray together and mingle under faculty guidance. In future years, other student organizations began to develop. These new organizations were seen as secular. Students read poetry in the dormitories while smoking and engaging in alcohol. Literary societies and debating clubs emerged as two of the most important forms of student organizations. As these organizations began to prosper, they began to take on certain characteristics to distinguish membership. Subsequently, many societies used initiation rites, mottos, and badges. As a result, membership and activities in literary societies often became more important than the curriculum of the college. These extenuating factors have led to the development of a variety of student organizations available to students on the college campus, including fraternities and sororities. Fraternities and sororities shared many characteristics that were similar to that of literary societies, including the use of pins, badges, secret initiation rites, and mottos. Fraternities and sororities used Greek letters to express their organizational mottos and adopted initiation rituals that were similar to that of Masonic orders. Phi Beta Kappa is known as the first fraternity in the United States and was often seen as a prototype for Greek-lettered fraternal organizations. Phi Beta Kappa was founded at William and Mary College in Williamsburg, Virginia in 1776. As two of the founders were also Masons, many assume there was Masonic influence on the organization. A Masonic influence that can be seen in the fraternity is their establishment of chapters of the organization outside of Virginia. The origin of women fraternities and sororities correspond with coeducational institutions of the Midwest and Southern regions. As women were seen as a minority on campuses, they came together to show a presence and position. It's understood that women fraternities and sororities are an imitation of the already well-established men fraternities. Women organizations began as early as 1852 in the form of literary societies and later began to use Greek symbols. Pi Beta Phi was the first national women's fraternity. The organization was formerly known as IC Sorosis until 1888. The first female organization to use Greek letters was Kappa Alpha Theta, which was founded by Betty Locke in 1870 at DePaul University. As the concept of fraternalism grew and transformed, women soon began to start organizations that mimicked the customs and tradition of fraternities. Hence, sororal organizations were born. As African Americans noted these elite organizations, they too wanted to form organizations for college-educated men and women that emphasized brotherly and sisterly love. Black Greek letter organizations emerged from observing the inner working of white fraternal organizations. 1905 through 1930 served as a fundamental time period for African American fraternities and sororities. During this period of time, 4 campuses served as the birthplace for Black collegiate fraternalism. Howard University in Washington, D.C. is often referred to as the cradle of Black Greek civilization. 5 of the first 8 Black fraternal organizations were founded on the Howard campus. In addition to the second chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha, Beta Chapter, which was founded at Howard in 1907 and became the first fraternal organization on the campus. When examining the culture of the institution, it is said that student life was very strict and disciplined. The creation of fraternities and sororities allowed for students to escape the normality of traditional student life. In the fall of 1905, 40 years after the fraternity movement began at Cornell, a group of Black students formed the Social Studies Club. This group of men wanted to create an environment where they could interact positively amongst their peers. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was founded by this group of students in 1906. This organization was known as the first African American fraternity. The founders of the organization were determined to bind themselves together to ensure that each would survive in the racially hostile environment. The visions of the founders was to stimulate the ambition of its members, to prepare them for the greatest usefulness in the causes of humanity, freedom, and dignity of the individual, to encourage the highest and noblest form of manhood, and to aid downtrodden humanity in its efforts to achieve higher social, economic, and intellectual status. Since the founding of Alpha Phi Alpha, there has been 8 other African American Greek organizations to join their ranks. The group of organizations are commonly known as the Divine Nine and is a part of an umbrella organization called the National Panhellenic Council. May 10, 1930 is known as the official founding date of the Nphc. The following national fraternities and sororities fall under the Divine Nine: Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, founded 1906. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, founded 1908. Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, founded 1911. Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, founded 1911. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, founded 1913. Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, founded 1914. Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, founded 1920. Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, founded 1922. And Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated, founded 1964. 5 of the 9 organizations were founded on the campus of Howard University. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated were founded at predominantly white institutions. The founding of these organizations on predominantly white campuses was important in uniting Black students who often felt marginalized in the academic environment. Young Black men and women who were dedicated to scholarship and service sought out membership into these exclusive organizations. They envisioned creating a legacy that would remain prevalent in the Black community for generations. These organizations allowed African American students to fellowship with Black collegians across the country. They shared the desire to make a difference in the status of African Americans in the United States and fight against social injustices.
All right. Well, I hope that you all were able to learn something from watching that video. That was just to give you a little bit of insight about what our Greek organizations are. Again, today we have with you Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So we're here today celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And as Brandon said earlier, Martin Luther King was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, and his wife, Coretta, was a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. So at this time, I'll open the door for our presidents to give any more insight that they'd like to give in reference to our organizations and our respective chapters.
President Barksdale, do you want to kick things off?
I think in honor of Dr. King, we'll let you all go.
Fair enough. We wanted to, again, take some time out today to talk to you about our organization. As was stated earlier in the video, we are the first Black Greek fraternal organization. Our fraternity was founded on December 4th, 1906 at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. And since then, we've grown to become a worldwide organization. So we have chapters everywhere. Currently, here in Fort Mill, we have a chapter that was just founded. So we are very new to the Fort Mill area. But one of the things that we really focus on as a fraternity is service. So we do a lot of community service programs. We give back to our community. We do things, trying to mentor kids and trying to find ways in which we can be of service to the communities that we're in. I don't know if anyone has any experience with knows anything about fraternities or sororities. Does anybody have any family members or friends or people that you know that are in fraternities or sororities? Well, that's okay. It's we just wanted to take some time out, and one of the reasons why we wanted to do this today is that, as was stated, Martin Luther King was a member of our fraternity. So we always take time out to make sure that we recognize that his contributions are recognized on this day. So, President Barksdale, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So Alpha Kappa Alpha is a lot like Alpha Phi Alpha. We are the first sorority, which is the group that's for girls. And it was founded by 9 Black women who were in college. And so these women were special because they were one generation removed from slavery. They were going to school and they decided that they wanted to have an organization where they could meet and enjoy each other's company and learn from each other and do things together, just like the other organizations that were at other schools. And so this thought has grown far beyond just meeting up and having someplace, having a group to meet with people that are like you, and has moved across the world. We have chapters of AKAs in every country, on every continent. So let's just think about how amazing that is, that if you decide that you have an idea that is little, right? You're like, oh, it's just small, but throughout your lifetime, it goes all across the world. That's what AKA is. That's what Alpha Phi Alpha is. And that's what you could do. If you have something that you want to do, something that you're thinking about, and you think that it's going to impact a lot of people across the world, you go ahead and you do that.
Thank you, Madam and Mr. President. At this time, we want to transition over to the reason why we're all here today. As you know, it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and on this day, we celebrate the things that he did in his lifetime to help move our society forward, and we celebrate his legacy and the dream that we had. I know many of you may be familiar with his I Have a Dream speech. So right now, we just want to give you a little bit more information about Dr. King. And to do that, we're going to have one of our 50-year members read a little story to you about MLK.
Hello, I'm Evelyn Hardy, a member of Omega Tau Omega Chapter, Fort Mill, South Carolina, of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And I am so pleased to be with you today to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. You say, Doctor? Could I have gone to him for a cold or a fever? No. Let me explain about the doctor part of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. After high school, Dr. Martin Luther King went on to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, the city where he grew up. Then after going to several other colleges and universities, he ended up at Boston University, where he was granted, but worked very hard to get, a doctoral degree in religion theology. And that is why we call him Dr. Martin Luther King. So I have chosen today to read I Have a Dream, Dr. Martin Luther King's speech that he gave on that cold, cold January day in 1963. The book I have chosen, I Have a Dream, Dr. Martin Luther King, is illustrated by Kadir Nelson. Beautiful pictures in this book. This is a shortened version of the entire speech that Dr. King gave on that January day. Once he had arrived in Washington, D.C., he had prepared a speech several days before he arrived there. But once he got there and saw those thousands and thousands and thousands of people there to hear him speak, he said, no, I'm not going to give the speech that I had written. I have a dream. And I'm going to share this dream with all the people that have arrived to hear me speak. And here's a picture of the thousands upon thousands of people who had come to hear him speak. This book has just beautiful, beautiful pictures that have been done by Kadir Nelson. So Dr. King begins his dream by letting the people say to him how grateful they were that they had arrived to hear him. So he begins by saying, I say to you today, my friends, that even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. And here's a picture of him in front of the Lincoln Monument. He went on to say, I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And as you can see, the picture of the thousands and thousands of people who had arrived to hear his speech in front of the Lincoln Monument. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. And he goes on to say, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And here's a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King and his wife, Coretta Scott King's 4 children when they were quite young. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. Wonderful picture of children just having a good time holding hands with each other. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed and all flesh shall see it together. It's a beautiful picture of just the land with the hills, the sun shining on it, the mountains. This is our hope. This is the faith I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. Again, the crowd were just so many people there. And in the background, you can see the Washington Monument. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. It's a beautiful picture of two hands of two different colors holding hands together, two different people being one. This will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountain, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. All the different colors of the children, having a dream of freedom, freedom, freedom for all. So let the freedom ring from the traditious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the hiking Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped mountains of Colorado. Let freedom ring from these different states. The mountains, the snow-capped mountains of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. Let freedom ring. From every mountain side, let freedom ring. And look at Dr. Martin Luther King's face. You can tell how important it is for him, for all people to have freedom. And when this happens, we will allow freedom to ring. When we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. It's a beautiful, wonderful picture of some of the people who had gathered to hear Dr. Martin Luther King's speech. People of all colors, from all places, had come to hear him. So he said in the singing of the words of the old Negro spiritual, freedom, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. And here's some beautiful doves just flying in the sky to that beautiful blue sky for freedom, freedom at last. And you know, I mentioned to you at the beginning that this was the shortened version of the I Have a Dream speech that Dr. King gave. In the back of the book is the lengthy total I Have a Dream speech. So as I end the I Have a Dream speech, I want to ask you, do you have a dream? Do you have a dream that as you look around, do you have a dream of freedom? Do you have a dream of respect for others, for yourself? Do you have a dream of love, a love for your family, for your friends? Share your dream as Dr. Martin Luther King shared his dream in January of 1963.
Thank you very much, Ms. Evelyn Hardy. I hope you all enjoyed the book about the I Have a Dream speech. So now we just want to open it up. If we have any of the children on that would like to talk about what you just heard in the book, or to express anything that you believe or your feelings about MLK Day. And we're going to have our presidents jump in here to chime in with the conversation. So Danielle, is there any way we can get the kids on or have any of them to speak to what they just saw?
A lot of them are on.
Okay.
And so if you all could use the reactions to express that you want to speak, and then one of the hosts from the Mega Chapter can call on you to share those sentiments. And we also had the videos. Did you want to share any snippets from those as well, from the essay?
Yes, we were going to do that in just a second. We just wanted to see if any of the kids wanted to say anything.
Anaya, Miracle, let's see, who else? Let's see. Jemiah. Any of y'all want to speak on it? Kelvin, any of y'all want? Okay, y'all can speak on MLK.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Come on over and just give us a one-liner. What is something that you want to share about MLK, or that you want to, what you're grateful for? Come on. Just keep it short and simple. Anaya, you want to share anything? Now we have Janaya on here. There's some others. Okay, what you could just say it. What you want to say? I didn't put you on camera. I'm just having you share your voice. What are you thankful for some things that Martin Luther King Jr. did? What's one thing you're grateful for? Is that Jemiah right there? You wanted to say something, Jemiah? Y'all don't have to be nervous. Just say it. What are you? One thing you're thankful for?
Didn't he have to write for people to vote?
Okay, about people exercising their right to vote. Okay. KJ?
Awesome.
Something that what are you grateful for? I mean, something that in your life right now that Martin Luther King helped to make happen. Come on, Travis. Okay.
Non-second grade schools. For the black and white to stop being racism.
Okay, so to end for unity.
To end the black and white racism.
Okay, so for races to unite, no matter what color, blacks and whites, that we can coexist together. That's what you're saying. Okay, come on, Kelly.
That's a great response.
Yeah, because those are a lot of things that some of our grandparents didn't have. They didn't have those privileges. Some of our the next generation up, they didn't have. They were the ones who were testing it out when they were desegregated. Come on, I can hear you. Okay, so the blacks and whites can go to school together. So the desegregation of schools. Najee, what's yours? Are all your friends all black? Okay, so you have friends who are of all different, who are white and everything, and guess what? If this was back in the 60s, it may have been a problem in the 1960s and before. And so he was able to bring a lot of people together based on love and not be separated based on color. Any of our other kids from the center want to speak? Okay, so that can conclude our contributions. They all acted shy.
It looks
Okay,
like we have
looks like,
somebody who wants to speak.
yeah, looks like,
Kylie?
yeah, Kylie, the twins. If we can, Kylie Felder, they want to speak. Kylie, if you can unmute yourself, you can tell us your comment.
He fighting for justice and he did stuff with Rosa Parks. I am grateful for Martin Luther King Jr. because without him, we'll probably still be segregated right now. And I really hope he if he didn't use words. I mean, he did use words, but he didn't fight, and which made people use love.
Those are fantastic answers. Thank you. Those are really good answers.
Great answers. Anyone else have anything they'd like to comment about with MLK?
Yeah, I would like to say that I have a dream that people they would stop being racist and that everybody can do stuff all together, not because of the color of their skin, but the content of their character.
That's right.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We appreciate hearing from all of you today about what MLK means to you. So now what we'll do is we want to just, we did send over some information as far as writing essays about MLK. So we just want to highlight a video here of one of our students speaking about MLK and what it means to her. If we can go to that video.
What would Dr. Martin Luther King say about our world today? Honestly, I think his message would be the same. Take a look at today's world. An African American man named George Floyd was suffocated by a police officer on May 25, 2020. His knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds because a store clerk said he had passed a counterfeit $20 bill. He was 46 years old. Brianna Taylor, an African American woman who was fatally shot in her apartment on March 13, 2020. The Louisville Metro Police Department forced the entry into the apartment because they believed they were a part of a drug dealing operation. Brianna's boyfriend stated that the police did not announce themselves. He fired a warning shot, believing that the police were intruders. According to the officials, his warning shot hit one of the officers in the leg. In return, the police fired 32 shots, and 6 of them hit Brianna. She was only 26 years old. These stories could have easily been written in the newspapers of the Civil Rights Movement between 1954 and 1968. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "There comes a time when people get tired of being pushed out of the glittering sunlight of life's July and standing in the amid and the piercing chill of a pine November. Dr. King said that December 25th, 1955, but still applies today in 2021, 66 years later. Black people are tired. After George Floyd and Brianna Taylor's death, with the protests occurring in over 40% of the counties in the United States, polls estimated between 15 million and 26 million people participated in protests in the United States, making these protests potentially the largest movements in terms of participants in the U.S. history. So in summary, I feel that Dr. Martin Luther King's message will be the same. His speeches will be the same today as they were back then, and his disappointment will be the same today as it was back then. So even though, as we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream, deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I, Kennedy Williams, have a dream too.
Yay, we can give a hand clap to Miss Williams. That was great. We appreciate you, Kennedy. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on MLK for us. Does anyone else have any comments? Looks like we had a question in the chat. Let me take a look here and see what this is. Looks like Jay Pate says, what actually made you join your sorority or fraternity? What makes you proud to be a part of it? Any of my fellow D9 would like to answer? Brandon, it looks like you gave your answer in the chat. Any members are welcome to speak if you like. Nobody wants to speak? Okay.
Well, I can speak.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
My name is Robert Sellers, and I joined Alpha Phi Alpha at Morris College in Sumter, South Carolina, fall '02. And the reason I joined the fraternity is because when I first started the school, I saw most of the members of Alpha Phi Alpha. They always were together. They always showed brotherhood. And I always saw them doing things in the community to help others. So I always thought that I always wanted to be a part of something like that. Excuse me. And then, so basically, most of my friends, my college friends, high school friends, they started joining and I came in last. And then it was just the best experience of my life because I always know that I have friends and brothers that I never had before, like Brother Woodward. Like I just met him when I moved to Charlotte, and we're both Baltimore Raven fans, so that was a connection. And so it was just destined for us to, you know, and it's that brotherhood, that camaraderie, is nothing like it. And that's basically why I'm glad that I did what I did. I wouldn't take it back at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share?
Just to piggyback on what Brother Sellers said, I think one of the things that I love most about being a part of this fraternity, this organization, is that I have brothers all over the world that I haven't even met. But I know that if I'm there and we identify each other, that I have somebody that I can always rely on to be there for me. And that's important because, you know, we are, you know, while we're not brothers in the sense that we share the same mother, we are family, and we look out for each other as family. So I call Brother Sellers like my own brother. I do have a actual brother who lives in Maryland, but like I view Brother Sellers exactly like I view my own brother. He is, just as important and somebody that I know has my back and I have his back, and we share that common bond.
Thank you, Brandon.
So I answered in the chat, but I'll just say out loud so that the girls can be represented. I joined, of course, because, for sisterhood, but I think when I got to college, it was really eye-opening to see young women really participating in the community. I started volunteering with them and going to one of the neighborhoods and tutoring after school. And so I had never been one of those girls who hung with girls. And so to be around them and just kind of see the relationships and the impact. And one of the things that I'll say now is a lot of the girls that we tutored have now joined the sorority so many years later. They still reach out and they'll walk up to me and they'll say, "Hey, Miss Wakita, do you remember me?" And I sometimes have absolutely no idea who this child is because it's been over 20 years. But just to know that that lifelong impact that you can have on someone. And then the idea that, I've always been the type of person who loves service, but I'm one person. So even though I can do that one thing, when there are 10 more people who are doing that one thing with me, then that multiplies it by so much. So imagine us doing that and then everybody across the world doing it at the same time, how many people we actually get to help. And I just love that idea of being unified in my service and being able to give back through a vehicle like an organization, so that it just maximizes and it makes such a big impact every time we decide that we're going to get behind something.
Thank you, Wakita. I would have to say for myself, it's the same reason. I piggyback off of what we've heard everyone say before me, that it was a sense of sisterhood and also having that vehicle to serve as well. And, just knowing that you're a part of something that's greater than yourself, where you can give back. Do we have any other questions or any more comments from any more of the children? Looks like Erica says here in the comments, the service and impact in our communities drew me to our illustrious sisterhood. I also saw support and genuine sisterhood, networking, sharpening one another because iron sharpens iron. I also was very humbled to see and experience firsthand how the lasting relationships impact the sister, her family, and the community for a lifetime. Exactly. Okay. Well, Danielle, did you have any additional information that you wanted to present for the children right now?
Only thing is that I'm going to be providing their green white papers that we'll have to pick up for them. So I've been texting them and I'll get information to them. But related to this event, I hope they're enjoying their Chick-Fil-A. If they can let us know how that is, and thank Chick-Fil-A as well as the AKA and the D9 organizations of Fort Mill who have put this together for you all. A great thank you to them would also be, we'd also appreciate. So if you could let them know if it's tasty or not.
Well, I just want to say thank you to you all for being here for us today. I hope that you enjoyed yourself and I hope that you really learned something else about MLK. We appreciate you all celebrating with us and I hope that you are enjoying your Chick-fil-A. So thank you for them for providing that meal for you today. And we look forward to being able to work with you all again in the future and to do more activities. So again, on behalf of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Omega Tau Omega Chapter, and Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Sigma Tau Lambda Chapter, we thank you all for being with us today and we hope you enjoy the rest of your MLK Day.